So I wanted to do a follow up to the video I just did, and I got back from the gym, and that is some of the places I have my best ideas. I don't know why. I guess I'm free to think, and I know I left the last video off a little quickly, but there's more. I guess I want to talk about on K through 12. As you remember last year, everybody, they were trying to change the standards of the high school diploma, and there was a lot of uproar from parents, educators, and even the universities got involved. They were trying to, I'm trying to find the right word to say, I would say devalue an Indiana diploma, high school diploma. And I want to share with you the letter that Dr. Katie Jenner wrote she's the president of IU, and I'll parts of it, and I'll post the letter up too so everybody can see it. She talks about specifically that this alignment is critical in ensuring students are prepared for post-secondary programs that lead to innovations in health and life sciences, cybersecurity, and AI, educator preparation for P-12 schools, and competition in the global economy. Because I want you to remember, our kids are not competing just against Americans for jobs, for resources. They're competing we're a global economy, so we're competing against everybody. Right now our biggest competitor is China. They are pumping out more PhDs than we are now, more research papers. They are heavily investing in education and in the technologies of the future. Real quick, like right now, we make 2 nanometer chips. I know TSMC in Arizona is making three, which is in TSMC in Taiwan makes 2 nanometer chips. So we're doing that stuff in America too. And TSMC really is the global foundry for computer chips. I digress. Anyways, so they tried changing the diploma. They ended up not doing all that again, like I said, because of all the uproar for parents. So what they did do is they changed, and I'm going to have my notes again. This is a lot of information. Remember off the top of your head, just to spew out. So the Indiana State Board of Education changed diploma rules to make work-based learning count toward graduation, allowing internships, apprenticeships, and career training to fulfill credit requirements. And I'm not going to say that's a bad thing, because we want kids to have as many different opportunities as they can to succeed, find a career they want to get into, and do something that they enjoy, right? Part of life is enjoying what you do. So there has been a surge in CTE, career technical education participation. So over 80% of Indiana's class of 2023 took at least one CTE course, about 40% concentrated in single career pathway. And it seems like they're pushing these single career pathways onto kids instead of opening them up to different pathways for what a career can be and what you can do. So let's talk about, so enrollment in the career training climbed by 30,000 students since social distancing, per Indiana governor's workforce cabinet. So what are some of the cons of this? So academic rigor may suffer. Some worry AP and ACT scores will drop. Builds a workforce pipeline, could track students too early into non-college paths. So again, that goes back to what I just said. You want to have the ability to pivot in today's economy. And if you focus on one track, okay, you have less chance of riding out a recession. You're giving yourself less opportunities. You never want to pigeonhole yourself into one thing only, and that makes it harder for you to adapt in a global economy. So I want to read some more stuff here about what it was in that letter. So when they wrote the letter against the changes, so additionally, internal IU analysis indicates high school grades earned by a student and the rigor of the curriculum pursued serves as a significant predicator of success for incoming students across all our IU campuses. Grades earned in higher level high school courses show a closer correlation with performance at IU than grades earned in lower level high school courses. Examples of high school courses with the strongest correlation between performance in that course and performance at IU include U.S. history, anatomy, biochemistry, calculus, pre-calculus, and statistics, world language, and other advanced high school courses. Evidence also suggests that students entering IU with even one college course completed do better than students who have earned zero college credit while in high school. Performance in IU improves significantly across multiple metrics with greater numbers of incoming college credit. And then she ends the note with, lastly, IU understands the need for an employment-ready SEAL to be highly informed by a wide variety of industry and workforce development representatives. We strongly urge the department to include 2- and 4-year post-secondary institutions in the development of the SEAL as well. Many industry pathways circle back to post-secondary education, and or individuals may wish to pursue post-secondary education as adults. In both cases, it's imperative that such individuals do not lack basic preparation for on-ramp into higher education at a later point. Indiana University is committed to participating in these discussions as well. So that goes back to what I said. We want these kids, young adults, to be ready for the rigors of college. So if they choose one of these career pathways, they decide later that they want to go to college, they have the background to do it. We want to set them up for success no matter what they're doing. And I don't want this to come off as I'm saying these trade skill jobs are not as important or I'm looking down on them, because I'm not. Again, I've done some of these jobs. I had a friend in high school, his father owned an electric company, and I worked that in the summer of one year. That is some back-breaking work. You working in the heat in the summer, digging trenches is not easy labor. And then I mentioned before, my father made me work construction jobs in the summer, so I would learn different skills. And his goal with that was to make me realize that I need to get an education so I can do a job that wasn't as backbreaking. And again, if some people enjoy that, great. I'm happy for you. Pursue it the best way you can and enjoy it, because I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't do these jobs or you shouldn't do these jobs. I'm here just to give you some information and to put out there that we're a global economy. We're also an information economy. And the skill set for the future, the jobs of the future are going to be on these higher levels of technology. Biochemistry, making new medicines. We have astrophysics. We're trying to chart new regions in space. AI is the future with technology, where people create things that make our lives easier. So going back to these CTE courses they have in high schools, so they're graduating around currently there's enrolled 63,000 kids. Okay, so I reached out to an economist here in Indiana, and he's written in some articles in the papers, and I'm not going to put his name out because I didn't ask him permission to do that. I just messaged him and he responded to me. So I asked him about the trade jobs and how that's working out for us. So he said Indiana currently has 36,000 trade jobs now, and maybe another 40,000 in support of trades. Turnover in that field is 10% or so, meaning we need another 3.6K to 7.2K per year. But 10 times that number of kids leave high school without any post-secondary plans. So there aren't enough trade jobs to expand the middle class. So, and on top of that, the income growth is wholly among educated workers in Indiana currently. All the gains, mainly in income, have been from people with higher degrees, associates, bachelors, masters, and so on. So he even says the strategies to shift kids from college to trade are not going to have a happy outcome overall for Indiana. And again, that it's numbers. We cannot graduate. Let's say we graduate 30,000 kids a year into these trades. Indiana only needs 3.6 to 7.2K per year right now. So these kids are going to go somewhere to find work, and they're not going to stay here in Indiana. And we want our state to grow and to advance. We want to hold on to as many of our citizens as we can, so we don't have out migration. And out migration, immigration, that can be another topic. I don't feel like covering that at this moment because that's just not relevant to this as much. So I would like to think about the people who are pushing these things onto our children, onto us. Are they pushing their kids into the same curriculum? And I don't believe so. I don't believe Jim Banks or any other Republican legislator in the U.S. House or Senate or here in Indiana in the chambers are going to let their kids go do some of these jobs, or I won't even say jobs, pursue those diplomas in high school. They are going to push their kids into college and I guarantee you, some of them to the elite colleges, to the elite universities. So you have to wonder why. And I'm not going to go into the ins and outs because I don't want to say things that would be inaccurate, or just because it's my opinion doesn't mean it's everybody else's opinion. But it's a big club, and our kids aren't in it because they're not pushing our kids to go this route. They're pushing our kids to what they believe is what we need. And again, I had an economist tell you we are only needing, let's say, 3,000 to 8,000 jobs a year in these fields. So do you want your children to be ready, college ready? Or do you want your kids to be not college ready? Because even if they get your kids go into the trades, they may decide 2, 3, 4 years from now, hey, I want to get a degree. I want to get into another part of my trade, and education is what I need to do that. The kids who are college ready will have a better opportunity to take those jobs than the kids who are not. And I would say we should want our kids all college ready regardless, because things can change. And what if your child is in a field that gets taken over by automation, or gets taken over by, who knows what AI is going to do? My job might be on the chopping block with AI in the future. You just don't know. So having the ability to pivot quickly and efficiently into another field is important. So all I'm going to say is on that then is, why isn't the legislature thinking like that when they try to essentially devalue an Indiana diploma? Now that the legislature and the governor have the ability to take over the universities, who's to say they won't try to change the diplomas again, and this time the universities won't be there to push back? And what if the parents weren't enough last time, and the teachers weren't enough to stop it, and that one part that finally got to them was, hey, IU, Purdue, Ball State, ISU, and IU is our gem here in Indiana, right? Without them stepping up and explaining to the legislature why this was a bad idea, we might have had these lower diplomas where you graduate from high school and you can't even get into the colleges in your own state. So I'll leave you with that.